in partnership with Pressure.
June 6, 1944 changed the course of history forever. Beaches became battlegrounds, the blood of thousands stained the shoreline. Boys became men. I know because I was there. My name is John Carpenter Raaen, Jr. I was a Major General at the time I retired in the United States Army, and at the time we're going to discuss, which is World War II, I was a captain in the 5th Ranger Infantry Battalion. We knew that our mission involved amphibious landing on a hostile shore. We knew that we were to pass through the enemy, defeating him as much as was required to pass through him. We knew that we then would assemble at assembly points and march approximately 5 miles and again attack a fortified place. That was as much as we knew, and we didn't know that other than that's the thing that we were doing in training. That's just the type of thing we were doing in training. So in that sense we knew it. But no, even though they did show us maps just before we boarded the ships for the invasion, those maps did not have a single name on them. Had all the features, the geological features, had all the buildings. Usually had the German minefields and the German artillery positions and fighting positions and things like that, but no names. It wasn't until we got aboard the ships with 4 days, 5 days to go, that suddenly here were names on all of these little hamlets that we had seen and things like that. You could tell it was getting closer and closer, but we didn't know any of the parameters that they used in planning. There was no way we could figure out when. It's just that as you succeeded in the various steps of training, you knew that you were just getting closer and closer because there wasn't anything more to do in training. When we got into the Dorchester camps before embarkation, you weren't even allowed to get anywhere near the fences, and you couldn't talk to the guards who were outside with full loads of ammunition to shoot anybody that tried to get through those fences either direction. That was their job. You didn't even talk to them. You stayed well clear of them. Let them do their job while you did whatever it was you had to do. The security was very, very complete, and it turned out very, very effective because the German High Command did not know where we were coming or when. We had landing craft assault, which was a British boat, very similar to the American LCVP, the Higgins boat. It was lower in the water. It had some armor. It had very powerful engines. The ramp and ramp area, the passageway leading to the ramp, was quite narrow, and you had to go single file. So going single file and unloading that particular boat took 3, even 5 minutes because, let's face it, we were carrying pretty heavy loads on our backs. And they would catch on the bulkheads and things like that as you went out. So you did not go out at a dead run. You went out at a slow, tedious walk trying to get up to the ramp, single file, and it took a long time. So we loaded into these things, and they brought out to the landing ship infantry, they were called, and we were lucky again because they had davits and they hoisted the boats aboard, and we got out of the boats right onto the boat deck. So we were lucky. We didn't have to go up and down cargo nets or anything like that. Every one of at least the Ranger landing ships had sand tables of the beach area. So we spent all of our time studying the sand tables, studying the maps, studying the aerial photos, doing calisthenics to stay in condition. Well, that was it. It was just waiting. We didn't want to wait. We wanted to go. Everybody wanted to go. We were highly trained. We all knew our jobs. We knew the terrain we would be in. We knew what our objectives were. And we wanted to go in and get it over with. And that was a universal attitude. Now, what were the enlisted men doing down in the troop spaces? Writing letters, playing poker. And the chaplain was holding Mass. And of course, an Army chaplain is far more than his own denomination. Army chaplains were giving Jewish services to the Jewish troops, and of course Protestant services for the Protestant troops, as well as doing Roman services for the Catholic troops, confessions and all kinds of things like that. It was the 4th of June, and I think we'd been aboard since the 1st. On the 4th, we were told, this is it. So just as sun went down, I think it was pretty dark. We sailed out of Portland Harbor and along the southern coast of England toward the Eye of the Needle, as it was one of its names. And as we were sailing along, word came that it's called off. So we immediately turned back and went back into Portland Harbor, and we did get into Portland Harbor, anchored, and waited, and somewhere around 2 or 3 the next afternoon, they said it's on again. So we went through the same exercise, but this time it was a go. What do you do before a football game if you're a football player? You run through the plays in your mind, and all the mistakes you made the last practice, how can you avoid them, that type thing. Most of it were professional thoughts, and I think the same was true of the enlisted men, because they were as highly trained as we officers were. They saw the maps, they saw the sand tables, any one of them, for practical purposes, and many of them did. Just move right up when the casualties took place and took over, and knowing what to do. H hour was 6:30 British double daylight time, which is the same as French daylight time. And it was the summer, everybody was on daylight time. So 6:30 on daylight time, the sun is up, but it still isn't full light. So we went in, I would say in good daylight. We could see the bluffs, we could see the enemy positions on top of the bluffs, that type thing. But it was 6:30 in the morning, local time. The very first thing that happened was the seas were running 6 to 8 feet. Now, these are small landing craft. They hold 33 infantrymen, but we crammed in usually about 2 more into our landing craft, so we had probably 35 officers and men. Mine was a headquarters boat, so we had a large number of officers aboard. The chaplain was aboard, the executive officer was aboard, his assistant S3 was aboard, I was there, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other officers, and the rest were pretty high-ranking enlisted men, plus the 20 or so people that we brought along for security as riflemen and things like that, whose jobs really were cooks and bakers, but we didn't bring the mess people with us. We converted them into infantrymen for the invasion, that type thing. But they were well trained and knew what they were doing. So everybody was keyed up. As far as I was concerned, I never saw any hesitation on the part of any enlisted man or officer. Everybody knew their job, wanted to get it over with, knew if they did their job well, it would save that man's life down there. Hope he realizes that what he does well will save my life. That type attitude. When I stepped off the ramp, the water wasn't up to the top of my boots. The British coxswain had taken us in so well, and he paid for it because he couldn't back off the beach. But when we got to the beach, it was just plain out and out hell. The noise was bordered on unbearable. The fires that were occurring, human flesh, blood, oil, unburned explosives, vehicles, rubber, canvas. Oh, the smells were terrible too. But the machine gun fire and rifle fire that just went over our heads like a bunch of bees, and I'm talking thousands and thousands of small arms rounds, every minute passing over your head, and occasionally hitting somebody who is next to you, that type thing. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Radio silence ends in...
General Eisenhower, there are 2 storms advancing towards the Normandy coast.
Are you absolutely certain?
We had 3 hours. Go or not go.
50 days delayed, we will lose this war.
If you invade today, thousands of lives lost.
Soldiers, we will accept nothing less than full victory.
Omaha Beach, do you read?
Pressure, the untold true story of D-Day. Rated PG-13, only in theaters May 29th.